What is up, my friends? This is an exciting episode from yours truly, Canadian Gamer. Yes, I finally changed my sweater, and I'm in good spirits here, although I have been working quite a bit. Although I don't have a lot of time to game, it doesn't stop me from hunting when I'm out in the wild, which in most cases I'm out every day. Fix the old mic here, the old mic stand, bring it up. Oh yeah. Just like, what's his face there from David Letterman, Paul Schaefer. So, wine of the day, I usually buy the cheapest wines. I'm a cheap fuck, but not that this is an expensive wine, but Yellowtail, I was talking about it with my buddy Marcus from Dads and Lads Gaming, and also as well, Retro Joe, my buddy. Big Bold Red Yellowtail. So usually Yellowtail, you're getting the Shiraz, or you can get the Merlot. But this is like a newer one, Big Bold Red. I don't really know what the difference is. It sounds like it was crafted by the Casella family, so it must be some mobster Italian family out in Australia. But oh well. I don't know. I'm not a huge wine connoisseur. I guess I should top up my glass. To me, it kind of all tastes the same, but as long as it tastes good, that's all that matters. But yeah, so I guess you could say it's more of a, not quite a vintage wine, but probably a smaller batch than the regular Merlot. It's about $2 more. So yeah, cheers. So I got a few things to talk about, a few pickups as well. So before I show off what I've picked up and what I've acquired, because I have a bit of a mail call as well, I did want to talk about Spider-Man for the PS4, which is being, I guess, remastered for the PS5. Now, I saw this come up on a few of the bigger channels out on the web, so I did want to talk about it and give my 2 cents on it. Now, I'm not a fan of Spider-Man. I've never played the game. It's done by Insomniac Studios. It very much looks like Sunset Overdrive if you played that game on the Xbox One. Don't kid yourself, there are some blatant similarities with how the character flies through the air and the movements. But I saw basically what's happening is Insomniac is re-releasing this game on the PS5, and the main character, Peter Parker, in the game, they've basically given him a fresh coat of paint. They've changed the whole character, the look of the character, and I guess it's modeled after like a B-lister, or not quite an A-lister movie star that's out there in the real world. And I guess the reason why they're doing this is so that anyone that maybe hasn't played the game that picks it up for the PS5, this character is going to sort of resonate with the audience a little bit more, and it's going to align better, I guess, with the Marvel Universe, other movies that are coming out. They're going to try to take this character, this remodel of this young boy, and he might show up in another game that maybe will come out on the PS5, or again, the movies that come out in the theaters, the actual character in real life. I guess this is what this character is modeled after, so there'll be some better resemblances. To me, I think I get it from a business perspective, but from a gaming perspective, we've never seen anything like that before. I think it's kind of ridiculous. It's like you buy a game on the PS4 and you're used to this character that you've been looking at, and then the game's re-released on the PS5, and the main character is completely remodeled. I guess that's the way things are going with the world that we live in. I think we need to get used to it. You know, video games aren't just video games anymore. It is kind of blurring the line between video games and movies. So with product placement at an all-time high, I'm not surprised that a company like Insomniac would be, conjuring up something in the back end with Warner Brothers Studios as an example, and some bigwig executive sitting in their ivory tower probably put a gun to an executive's head at Insomniac and said, "Hey, listen, this game's coming out on the PS5. We want you to remodel Peter Parker." So I think it's kind of odd to see that, especially when you see the new characters like a young teenage pubescent boy, and the other character, well, not much older. He looked like he might have been in his early 20s. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to leave it there. Again, I haven't played the game, so I don't want to talk too much about it. So other than that, I've been enjoying my new Mad Catz steering wheel. Really enjoying it. with Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast, to be honest with you. Totally makes it more enjoyable, albeit a little bit more difficult because I'm not used to the wheel. But after playing a game like Outrun Coast to Coast with the steering wheel, honestly, I don't think I can go back to the controller because I'm having way too much fun with the steering wheel. I was able to get a few rounds in last night before my cat started jumping on me and I had to put it away. You know, I guess the biggest deterrent, how are we doing for time here? 5-minute mark? We'll keep going. The biggest deterrent for people who are looking to buy these steering wheels is a lot of times, I get it, they say the same thing that I said. You know, the steering wheel is so big with the pedals, you know, it's cumbersome. Where am I going to put it? With me, I'm going to buy like a small little ottoman and I'm going to put it in there so when I'm not using it, it's tucked away because it is pretty cumbersome. But it is a lot of fun, honestly. I don't know if I'll buy another one. It would be nice to have that Hori wheel for the Xbox One. But again, even though I have a house, I'm limited on space just as well as the next person. So I don't know. We'll see how things sort of play out as a lot of the Xbox One consoles, peripherals, and games go down in price as all these people flock towards the next gen consoles, which I have no part of right now. So that being said, let me show you the pickups here. I'm really excited to show you my pickups. So I went to the post office today and I got a package from my good buddy Lawrence Dagstein. It's right here. I've already opened it. So I want to show you what he mailed me. So he mailed me a mint copy of Cursed Mountain for the Nintendo Wii. I can't believe I have this game. I'm over the moon. I've got this Sunday off. Fingers crossed. I'm going to try to put this on. I'm just really excited. I'm a huge fan of mountain climbing. I've read the book Into the Wild by John Krakauer. Just a phenomenal book if you haven't read it. And ever since then, I've been addicted to, you know, the aspect of mountain climbing. Now, I haven't climbed a mountain before, but one of these days I'd like to. I'm not saying I'm going to climb Everest, but I'd like to climb a mountain. I find it really fascinating, and there's a lot of those elements that are in this game. You climb a mountain and then you get so high up in the altitude you start hallucinating and you can't differentiate what is real and what might be, you know, you're just losing your mind up there because that's what happens. You climb the mountain and I'll show you pictures of the game here. You climb the mountain and then the oxygen gets cut off to your brain and your blood, and it's crazy what these people go through when they climb mountains. So thanks so much, Larry. I really appreciate it. Now this caps off my collection of Wii and Wii U. This is the final game that fits snug on my shelf. I don't have any more room for any more games. The only other games I'd pick up for the Wii would be Wii Punch-Out! If I can find it someday out in the wild for a good price, and maybe the Kirby game as well. But other than that, that pretty much, you know, that wraps it up and puts a bow on it. So thanks so much, Lawrence. I really do appreciate that. So the last thing I'll do, because I'm not getting into next-gen consoles, right around the 8-minute mark, we'll keep going. I'm not getting into the next-gen consoles. I have way too many games that I haven't even touched that I've owned for a couple of years. So I'm good. I'm satisfied with what I have. And not that many people can say that. There's people that are just never satisfied. There's people out there that are going to go to GameStop. They're going to trade in their PS4, their Xbox One, and all their games. They're going to get next to nothing for it. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to regret it. You know, 6 to 7 years from now, they're going to be like, oh, you know, I really miss my Xbox One, my PS4. And guess what? They're going to try to go back and get all those games, and it's not going to be as easy. So, you know, looking at the next-gen consoles, I got to be honest with you, right now, there's really not a lot of good games that have been announced. And furthermore, $70 USD for a PlayStation 5 game is way too expensive. That's basically $100 Canadian after tax. And I don't know if the Xbox Series X games will be $70 USD, but I have to imagine if Sony's are, Microsoft's will be as well. So you guys can go ahead and chase after those next-gen consoles all you want. You can leave people like me to sit here and cherry pick all those primo titles for the Xbox One that I've been waiting to get my hands on, and now I can get them at a discount. So I can't wait. This is a great time to be a collector. So I want to show you what I picked up today. I went to the Hawk Shop. It was right around the corner from where I was working today. And I just want to say there's been a few people in the community that have really been, you know, really been poking me to to get a PS3, and I've never had a PS3. I've never really had any interest in getting a PS3, but I think now is the time. And I've done my research. I understand the original PS3, the fat model, piano black that came out. While it is a nice looking console and it does have backwards compatibility from the hardware for PS1 and PS2, I've heard rumblings that the backwards compatibility really doesn't look that great. Furthermore, you can get a pound cable right now, or like a composite to HDMI, excuse me, for your PS2, so I can just as well get that. But again, it's the unreliability issues with that fat model PS3, which is gonna, steer me away from it. But I've been hearing that the super slim model, the last edition of the PS3 that came out, is the best, obviously the best version of the PS3. Did a bit of research online, and I saw one of these at the pawn shop maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I probably should have picked it up at the time when I saw it. But you can get a PS3 Super Slim in a nice red color, and it comes with a red controller. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm in no rush, but I'm gonna start looking for a red PS3, and it has to have the red controller. That's what I want, so that's what I'm gonna get. So for the time being, I went into the pawn shop, and the Xbox 360 games are still priced accordingly. They're like mostly $10 to $15, some $20. But the PS3, it was literally all the games were $4.99. So I went in there and I picked up the 5 best games that they had on the shelf. And I think you guys are going to really get a kick out of this. So Canadian Gamer's dipping his toe in the water to PS3. This is monumental on this episode. So without further ado, I've always had my eyes on this game. And it's one of those games where, as an Xbox 360 owner at the time, you're salivating at the mouth because this was a PS3 exclusive that we never got. And this was $4.99. So here it is, Heavy Rain. So I haven't played Detroit Becomes Human, but I know this comes from the same dev team, if I'm not mistaken. This game, very polarizing. I know you either love it or you hate it, but I thought it looked really good. So Heavy Rain. Really happy I got this because this is one of the games on the PS3 that was on my radar, and lo and behold, it was in there when I went to the pawn shop. So, like I said, these days you'll have a better chance of finding good games at the pawn shop than going to the thrift store. So all you guys looking out there, go to the pawn shop. So the next thing I got here now, I think these were PlayStation Vita games, or excuse me, PSP, that were ported to the PS3. And that's the God of War Origins Collection. So I have Chains of Olympia, sorry I can't read, and Ghost of Sparta. So it's a 2-pack. Pretty cool. I know these games were critically acclaimed on the PlayStation Portable. So really cool to have this in my collection. I love the earlier God of War games. I don't talk about it much, but I played God of War, the original, last year, and I beat it. And I thought it was amazing. Unbelievable. What's the studio? Santa Monica Studios. It's the division of PlayStation. Man, they push the hardware like you wouldn't believe. And I got part of the way through God of War 2, and I pulled back from it, so I got to revisit that as well. So last but not least, these games are quite common, I guess, on the PS3. But for $4.99, you really can't go wrong. My buddy Alpha Nerd Entertainment, he's been, live streaming this, and he swears by it. I think the main protagonist looks like a fucking douchebag, but that's not going to stop me from playing these games. So here it is. Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Greatest hits. They didn't have the standard case. Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. And Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. So there you go. I got 5 games for $25, $28 with tax included. So really happy to have this. Might pick up a few more PS3 titles. I got a little section down here underneath my PS2 games for my PS3 games. Said I'm gonna pick up a super slim red model and call it a wrap. So I'm really excited. I love these types of games because they're not busted wide open world games that can be a little bit too overwhelming. They're very much linear. I don't want to say that the games are like Alan Wake, but they're linear in the way that they have like a set path. So really happy to have the Uncharted games. There's not too many other games on the PS3 that I'm really going to chase after. Most of the games were cross-platform games that I already have on the 360. But there you have it. Let me know the thoughts below on these games and the PS3 and what you think of some of the things I talked about today, as well as the Spider-Man controversy as well. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap it up there, right about the 15-minute mark. Thanks so much for watching. You people are wonderful and beautiful. You take care.